make this a little bigger here. Oh, there we go. So Miriam, she died 1 year before the Jews entered the land of Israel. The Jews entered the land of Israel, that's what it says in the book of Joshua, on the 10th day of Nisan, in the year 2487. 2487, yeah. The Jews got out of Egypt on 2448, the 15th day of Nisan, 2,448 years after the creation of the world. The Jews got out of Egypt on the 15th day of Nisan. 15th day of Nisan. And 40 years later, 2488, they went into the land of Israel on the 10th of Nisan. In other words, 5 days short of 40 years later. And 1 year before that, also on the 10th of Nisan, Miriam passed away. And that's when the Jews didn't have any water, and Moshe struck the rock, and God told Moshe, you're not going to go into the land of Israel. And then a little less than a year after that, on Zion Adar, and there was 11 months later, on Zion Adar, then Moshe died. Even though the Talmud says that Moshe did not die. But it says that Moshe died. It's a Talmud in Sota. Good morning, Sota. That Moshe died on Zion Adar. And something like, I guess, a half a year before that, Aaron died. Aaron died on the first day of Av. What happened?
Yeah, I pressed the button, it jumped. You're going to have to go back to the place.
All right, so here we go. Now we are on chapter. This is a little bit small. It's just, I'll tell you what, so that I don't have to depend on this, I'm going to read from my book, all right? There it is. All right, so we learned about what is the whole process of how you make the para aduma and who gets sprinkled with the ashes of para aduma and who becomes impure from sprinkling and what type of purity it is. Oh, 1 second, so we went a little bit further. Now we are on the fourth portion. Here we go. Here, now we're in the third person. Here we go. Ready?
Rabbi, before you were just saying that the Torah says that Moshe died, but the Gemara says that he didn't die?
It says in the Gemara, Moshe lo met. It says Yosef el Amav, that he was gathered to his people.
Yeah.
It's a Gemara in this. It also says by Yaakov Avinu that he didn't die.
But isn't the Torah pretty explicit in the way it describes how Moshe wanted to die exactly as Aaron wanted to die, with a kiss?
Right, yes, very good. You're very right, yes. It says also about Aaron. It says that Aaron, that they mourned him and they stuffed him, whatever it is, and they buried him in Marat HaMachpelah. And the Gemara even says, you mean that it says that they Chantu, Chantaya, Kavru, Kavraya, that he was embalmed and he was dead. So the Gemara over there in Sota says it just seems like it was that way. It seemed to them. Go and understand that, what it means, but that's what it says.
Possibly they're all using the word death, but they're talking about
it doesn't say in the Gemara, for instance, Yaakov Avinu, that he died. It says Yigva Yosef Elamov. It doesn't say Yigva Yomos. It doesn't say that he died. Here, let's see. Let's go. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't die. Moshe lo mit. I remember this is from the Gemara in here it is. Moshe Rabbeinu Elokim. It says lo mate Moshe. More that he still is serving in front of Hashem. You can look it up in Google or whatever you want to. Lo mate Moshe. Let's see what's it in Gemara Sota. Parish Yud Gimel.
In the Zohar,
Masha Omer Chazal, Lo Moshe made Moshe. Lo made Moshe. Vasiv Vayom Hasham. Ayat says it was died there. Vayishisham says. Anyway, you look it up and you'll understand what it means and how the rabbis learned such a thing like this. All right, let's go. Where is it? All right, let's just do this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to deal with this. The size of the page unsuccessfully. So I think there's enough troubles in this world without me. There we go. There we go. Do you have this also? Do you see what I'm seeing?
Yes, Rob. I do.
Here we go. Vayavo b'nei Yisrael kolo edal midbar tzin b'chodesh rishon. On the first month, that's the month of Nisan. This, in other words, was one full year before they went into the land of Israel. Vayeshav am b'kodesh, v'tamat sham Miriam, and Miriam died. V'tikaver sham, and she was buried over there. So it says kol ha'eda. What is kol ha'eda? Eda shlema. What does it mean? Eda shlema. Shekavar metu meti midbar. All of the people already died in the desert. The Elu and these, Parshu L'chaim, they separated for life. I mean, if you remember what happened was, on the last Tisha B'Av, everybody went into the desert and dug graves for themselves. Anyone who was over 60 would die. And that year, nobody died. Everybody dug graves for themselves and they waited and said, they figured maybe they made a mistake in the time. They saw the moon was full. They knew it was Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av was a very happy day. So it is today, even today. Tu B'Av is a happy day. We'll come to that date in another month and a half. But Tamad Sham Miriam died. Lama Nismacha Parshas Mitad Miriam, the Parshas Paraduma. We just finished learning about the red cow, and now we're talking about the death of Miriam. Now the red cow, that was commanded to Moshe way in the beginning. Right? And this is like, whatever is 39 years later, 38 years later, it talks about Miriam dying. Why did they do it that way? To tell you, ma korbanot mechaprim, just as the sacrifices bring forgiveness, named the paraduma, av mita tzadikim mechapera, the death of tzadikim brings a forgiveness for the world. There's the tzaddikim, they suffer because of everybody else. What are the sacrifices? They took one cow and they offered it up. By means of that, it justified the existence of all of the cows in the world. If there were no cows, you couldn't make a sacrifice. So they offered one cow every day. That justified the existence of all of the cows in the world. So the same thing when one Jew, especially a perfect Jew, a tzaddik, when he passes away, that justifies the existence of all the Jews in the world. So it brings forgiveness for the whole generation. So it says, Vatamat Sham Miriam, and Miriam also died there. But Miriam died there. Afi ben Shika Meta, she died also with what's called the kiss. What does it mean a kiss? It explains over there that there's different ways that the soul is removed from the body. And there's some people that they're really stuck into their body. And the body totally rules over them. So when they die, it says it's like pulling a hook from the mouth of a fish. It has to be ripped out. In some souls, they die what's called with a kiss. That God just removed their souls, just slips right out. It's just like taking a hair from that falls into a glass of milk. Why didn't it say there that Miriam died al pi Hashem, on the mouth of God? But that usually indicates that she died with a kiss. Because it says she'enu derech kavod l'mayla. This is not showing honor to Hashem, that Hashem kissed Miriam, so to speak. But Aaron, it says al pi Hashem. In Parshas Elo Masai, it says that he died on. There was no water for the congregation. And they gathered, the people gathered on Moshe and Aaron. Lo haya mayim. Mikan, from here we learn that all the 40 years, hayalahem a be'er, that the well existed b'zechut Miriam, in the merit of Miriam. Vayorav Amma Moshe, and the people argue with Moshe. Vayomer said, Lu gavanu b'gava achinu livnei Hashem. It should only have been that we died earlier. Lu gavanu halavai shegavanu. Like I said before, when we're talking about the spies and etc., that the Jews said the same stupid thing. It should only be that we died earlier. Why would they die? Because they were afraid they were going to die now. So what's the point of saying if we were going to die? And it ended up they didn't die. So they wished on themselves a worse fate than actually occurred. Which is supposed to, a person can be his worst enemy. Halavai, it should only be that we died earlier. A stupid thing to say. But that's what people do. Right? What were they afraid of? They were going to die from thirst. So what's the solution to that? We should have died earlier. Begava achinu, and b'mesis achinu b'midbar. We should have died in the death of the other Jews died in the desert. Lama misas sama meguna mimeno. From here we can learn there was a little bit of sense in what they said, because dying from thirst is a more painful death. So they thought. I don't know if anybody ever died from thirst up to that point, that they knew that dying from thirst was worse. But I guess they projected that it would be worse. Lu gavanu ala gavanu. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, skip down. So it says, begava, if we would have only died in the death. Death is a noun. That we should have died in the death of our predecessors. V'lo yitachen leparsho b'shemesu achinu, kishemesu. It's not that we should have died like they died. She'im kein hoya lo l'nakod begava. Then there should have been a different punctuation. So we're saying we should have died in the death, not we should have died like they died. There's a verb. Okay, so this is a lesson in grammar. Say the Jews to Moshe, why did you bring us over here to die in the desert? We us and our animals. We'll learn about this thing about the animals in a second. Lama he'elisanam Mitzrayim. Said the Jews, now they really go wild. Why did you even take us out of Egypt? 40 years they've been wandering in the desert. Moshe had been taking care of them with big miracles. He saved their lives. And now the Jews again remind Moshe, and this is a new generation. This is a new generation here. This is not the generation that their fathers got out of Egypt. This is a new generation that was not imprisoned in Egypt. Their forefathers got out of Egypt. All the others had died. They've been in the desert for 40 years. But they took the same complaints as their forefathers. Why did you take us from Egypt? Lavi otanu lamakom hara, is that to bring us to this terrible place? Lo makom zero u'te'en of a gefen v'rimon. This is not what you promised, that we're going to have a land that's flowing milk and honey. There's going to be dates and wine, pomegranates. We don't even have any water to drink. Then Moshe and Aaron came before the crowd, before the tabernacle. They fell on their faces, and Hashem appeared. What happened now? Let's go. And God spoke to Moshe saying like this, take your stick, take your staff, gather the Jewish people together, all of them. You and your brother, and speak to the rock. Now when Moshe struck it, he struck the tzur. In the desert, when he struck the rock, it was called a tzur. And here it's called a sela. He was supposed to talk to the sela. That's why we have a question. Why does it say in the song, Allah sela hach hach, Allah sela hach hach? Because Allah, it should have been a tzur, that he was supposed to hit the tzur. The sela he wasn't supposed to hit. Speak to the sela. And it'll give water. And water will come out of this sela, the stone. And you can give them and their animals to drink. Rashi at Bi'ram Mikan here Shechas HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mamonam Yisrael, for God had, how do you say, mercy on the possessions of the Jews. Now, if you think about this for a second, the Jews had absolutely no need for animals. What do they need animals for? They got bread from heaven. They were fed bread. They wouldn't have to travel anywhere. There was nowhere to travel, walking on that. They didn't have that animal to carry anything or to move anything. Everything they needed, true, they needed animals, it says, to carry the boards of the altar, the boards of the tabernacle. But except for that, what do they need animals for? But nevertheless, the possessions of a Jew are precious to Hashem. And God said, here, I'm going to give you water, and I'll give water to your animals also.
Didn't they need animals for sacrifices?
Good, that's right. They need animals for sacrifices, but not that many.
Well, also, they probably thought they were going to go into the promised land pretty quickly, even though it took 40 years. That's not how they originally expected it. They probably thought they'd bring some stuff with them to get started in the new place.
It could be, okay. That learns merit on the Jewish people. Even more, you're going to see later on, it says, Mikne Rav Hoya B'nei Ruvain B'nei Gad. When they came to the land of Israel, it says that they had huge numbers of flocks, and they had huge numbers of flocks, and they said, therefore, we don't want to go into the land of Israel. We have so many flocks and sheep.
But back to the first point about sacrifices. That's one of the things that Moshe said to Pharaoh. We need to take this because we don't know what our God's going to want us to give him.
Well, yeah. But listen, first of all, they knew when they were going to go into the land of Israel. They knew they were going to travel 40 years. That was the decree. Yom l'shana, Yom l'shana. So they knew it was 40 years. So they didn't have to have that many animals. You know, that they knew that they had in 1 year's time, they were going to go into the land of Israel. So they could have a minimum amount of animals to go into the land of Israel with, you know. Not only that, I mean, if Hashem was going to provide them with everything in the land of Israel, and he was going to take care of them and etc., so he would figure out a way to get them animals. I don't think animals was their big problem. He was going to provide with them food and everything. So, but you have a point. Yes, they did need animals for the minimum amount of sacrifices that they made. They had to have animals. In any case, God said, I'm going to give you water for you and your animals. Vayikach, it says, and for here, God, we see that God has mercy, values the possessions of Jews. Vayikach Moshe samata. So Moshe took the staff. L'ifnei Hashem. I mean, Hashem said, take your staff. Look at Lamleches. Take your staff, gather the people, and go and talk to the rock. So God told him to take the stick, right? Vayikach Moshe mata l'ifnei Hashem kasher tzivo, like God commanded him. Vayakilu Moshe Aaron at the Kal, and Moshe and Aaron gathered the people together in front of this cellar, the stone, big stone. Vayomer lahem, and he said to the people, Shimu na hamarim, listen to me, you rebellious people. Hamina sela zen notzilachem mayim. You think that from this rock I can take water? Vayakilu. Rashi, ze echad min hamakomot shehachzik muat at the meruba. It says all the Jewish people all gathered in front of the Oel Moed. Now there were millions of people there. There were millions of people. It says this is one of the places in the Torah where it says a small area contained a lot of people. So Moshe said to them, Hamin asela zen notzi, can it be that I'm going to bring out water for all of you from this rock? Lefi shelo makirin oto. So what did he say? Can it be that from this rock I'm going to bring out? He could have said, "Can you think I can bring water from a rock?" But he said, "You think I can bring from this rock?" What happened? Because he didn't know which rock it was. Because this rock moved, and it situated itself among other similar rocks. Kinishtalek a bear, as soon as the well stopped, Miriam died, so the well stopped. So this rock that was supposed to give them water, it concealed itself among other rocks. What do you care which rock you be? Just give us water from a rock. And he said, Hamorim sarvanim. Okay, now from this it seems that the rock that Moshe brought the water from was the same. It just got different words. It was called different things. Before Miriam died, it was called the Tzur. And as soon as Miriam died, as this rock, now it's called a Sela, moved among other rocks. So the Jewish people said to Moshe, okay, you want to bring water from a rock, bring it from a rock. What do you care which rock it is? I mean, if you can bring water from a rock, so any rock can do it, right? Therefore, he said, Hamorim. What does it mean? Morim means hasarbanim, stubborn people. In Greek, the word morim means shotim, fools. Morim et morehem, that you are trying to teach your teachers. Hamin asela hazeh, can it be that from this rock, shalonit stavinu olav, that I was not commanded to bring water? Notzi lechem mayim, can I take out water? And here it goes. Vayorim Moshe et yado. Moshe lifted his hand. Vayachet asel, and he hit this rock. Vamateu pamayim, twice, with his stick. Vayotzi mayim rab, and there came a lot of water. V'teshta eda, and the people drank ubi'iram and their animals. What did it mean he hit it twice? First of all, why did he even hit it at all? And why did he hit it twice? God told him to talk to the rock. The fish of Rishona, the first time he hit it, it just put out a few drops. Why? Because God never commanded Moshe to hit it in the first place. So Moshe hit the rock, and just a few drops came out. And Moshe said, I mean, you can't feed, there's millions of people here. How can I feed them with just a few drops? Ella v'dibartem elasela. God said, speak to the rock. So why didn't Moshe speak to the rock? Why did he hit it? Says Vehema, they, Moshe and Aaron, dibru elasela, they spoke to a rock, but it was the wrong rock, because this rock had moved. Velo hotzi, and it didn't bring out anything. Omer, they said, Shemet tzorach lakod b'rishona. Maybe I should have hit the rock like in the beginning. In the beginning, it worked really good. Shnei Malik, it says, v'hikita batzur. They hit this tzur, the rock. Anyway, nizdaman lehem oto osela. All of a sudden came the right, proper rock that was the water rock, and they hit it, and it worked. It started bringing out water, but it didn't bring out enough water. So they thought, okay, maybe we have to turn the thing a little bit more. How do we do that? We'll hit it again. Vayomer Hashem Moshe v'Aaron. God said to Moshe and Aaron, Yan lo amantem bi, because you did not believe in me, laktisheni le ben Israel, to sanctify me in front of the Jewish people. Lochen, therefore, lo taviu et hakahal hazeh, you will not bring this congregation el ha'oretz asher nasati lechem, to the land that I promised you, that I gave you. Pretty difficult test God put Moshe through. It's pretty terrible punishment. Yan lo amantem bi, because you did not believe in me. Gala kasushi lule chet zeh, that if it was only for this sin, nichnasin la'oretz, Moshe would have gone into the land of Israel. Kadesh lo yomru aleim ba'avon shar dor midbar. Maybe Moshe was sinned like all the other people of the generation. They got punished because they didn't want to go into the land of Israel. Shenigzar aleim shelo yikansu la'oretz. Kach haya avon Moshe v'Aaron. Maybe you can say, all the Jews didn't want to go into the land of Israel. They were punished. They have to die in the desert. And Moshe and Aaron, they died because of the same sin. Somehow or other was also their fault that the Jews didn't go into Israel. So they got punished also. So you shouldn't say that. So it says over here that, what is it? Because you did not believe in me and sanctify my name in front of the Jews on this, with the stone. In other words, it has nothing to do with the Jews not going into Israel. Hello, you can ask another question. Isn't it so? When the Jewish people complained about the manna, so that was a worse complaint. And they said, Moshe, we want food to eat. And Moshe brought them the slav, the birds, whatever. Because the Torah had mercy on him. Kan shebamamad kol Yisrael, in front of the Jews, lo chasach alav hakasuv mipnei hakodesh kiddush Hashem. Here, the Torah did not hide what was going on, and it told us why Moshe Rabbeinu was not going into the land of Israel. It had nothing to do with the spies, it had nothing to do with the man. It was only because he struck the rock. What was so bad about striking the rock? Says God, because you would have sanctified my name. She'ilu lahaktisheni, she'ilu dibartem, if you would have spoken to the rock, the Hotzi, and you would have taken out the water. Haiti mekadesh, I would have been sanctified, made holy, special, the Eine Ha'eda. And people would say, whoa, look at this. Ma selas she'enu medaber ve'enu shomea ve'enu tzorech laparnasa. If this rock, that the rock doesn't have any sense, it doesn't speak, it can't understand, and it doesn't need anything, it's just a rock, and nevertheless, it does what Moshe says, Kal v'chomer anu, for sure we depend on Moshe for our understanding, for our very lives. For sure we should do what Moshe says. Lochen, therefore, lo heviu, will not bring b'shavua. God says, I'm making an oath. Like it says, Lochen nishbati lebeit Eli. God says, I have taken an oath. Nishba b'kafitza kedei shelo yirbu tefila al kach. Moshe Rabbeinu, God swore. He said, it's not going to help you. Not going to help you. No matter what you do, I am not going to listen to you. I have made an oath. God said, I made an oath. And an oath is not going to be broken. Don't even try to pray. And it didn't help. Moshe did try to pray. That was Parshas Ve'eschanan. Mariva, these are the waters of contention. Asher Ravu b'nei Israel as Hashem, the Jewish people fought with God, the Kadesh Bam, and he sanctified them. Okay, now you have to realize also what's going on. I mean, Hashem also demanded a lot from the Jewish people. Here we go. These are the words that are mentioned in another place. At Elu ro et taginini paro. This is what the astrologers of Paro saw. What did they see? Shemoshirim she Yisrael loka b'mayim. Remember, Paro made this bizarre decree that he had all of the males, even the non-Jewish males, it says, drowned, all the babies drowned in the Nile River. Right, this made him a very unpopular person. I mean, I don't know, more unpopular than, de Blasio, but I mean, pretty unpopular. You can imagine how unpopular he is. Killed all the male sons. That's pretty weird. Why did he do it? Why did he do it? Just because the his astrologers said that they saw in heaven that the savior of the Jewish people was going to be smitten because of water. And Paro thought what it meant, water, that he was going to be able to drown Moses now. So he drowned all of the firstborn. He figured that's the way to get him with water. Of course, it didn't work. But what did they see? They just didn't interpret it properly. That this was the water that they saw that Moses was smitten by, namely the striking of the rock. Lochen gazru kala bena yalo. Therefore, Paro made the decree all the firstborn should be thrown, and all the children that are born in that year should be thrown into the river. So it says these are the Yakadesh Bo. It says these are the waters of contention where God, the Jewish people, made a war against God. The Yakadesh Bom. What does it mean, Kadesh Bom? That God became sanctified. Moses died, and also Aaron also died because of this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Din, that when God punishes the holy ones who Yir'u umekadesh. I don't know if this word is okay. Umekadesh al habriot. God's name becomes sanctified by the creations. Now, there's people know that there's such a thing as God, and that God is the boss. But Cain, who Omer, and so it says in Tehillim, Nora Elokim mimiktashecha, that God is awesome, fearsome in His holiness. And also it says, the Korovai Ekadesh, when Nadav and Avihu, when they were killed in they went into the Holy of Holies, and they died, so everybody knew that God meant business. In other words, God is really a matter of life and death. So God, if He wants to, can be very exacting from a person. I mean, after all, our life is a gift from God. God doesn't owe us anything. So if He wants to, He can take it back. God is very merciful. It reminds us how merciful God is. So there we have the tragic story about the death of Miriam. Next, we're going to have the tragic story of the death of Aaron and the consequent attack of the non-Jews, the removal of the clouds of glory. And after that, they were attacked. The Jews were attacked, and they won this amazing battle. Okay, let's learn Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot. By the way, I learned a little bit more about Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, according to the Rambam, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi was a